Hey guys, it's Sam for Sammy's Reviews, and today I'm gonna be vlogging the event of the Panorama of the European Film, which is an annual film festival that takes place in Cairo, Egypt. It screens European movies that has some buzz around it in the festival circuit. I'm so excited to take you with me on this journey because this is the start of the festival season here in Cairo, Egypt, where we get to see movies that had some talks around it in Sundance, Cannes, Berlin, TIFF, all these movies that I've been hearing about since the beginning of the year. Now it's my time to watch it. This is my favorite time of the year, not only because I surround myself with movies, but this is the time of art. I like to fit in my schedule movies, albums, audiobooks. I like to visit new places here in Cairo. I like to go to art exhibitions. I like to eat new food. It's just time for adventure. And I'm so excited to take you along on this journey. I'm also gonna be reviewing each and every single album, movie I'm gonna be seeing very briefly on my YouTube short, and I'm gonna be linking it down below. So this is the catalog of the Panorama of this year. I'm in love with the color scheme. I'm just gonna flip through it to show you how it looks like from the inside. It's divided into 6 parts, and I'm gonna be telling you each movie I decided to see. But before that, let me show you the index that has all the titles of all the movies that are gonna be screening. Here's a quick shot of that. The first movie I decided to see is Another World, which is a French movie that's directed by Stéphanie Brise. I'm really excited for that one. Also, I'm going to be seeing Compartment Number 6, which is directed by Kozmanen. Again, one of my most anticipated movies. I'm going to be seeing I'm Your Man, and I'm not sure I'm going to be liking this one, but I wanted to check it out anyway. Also, I'm going to be seeing Paris 13th District, which is one of my most anticipated, probably my second anticipated movie of the Panorama. I'm really excited for this one, but my most anticipated movie is actually The Worst Person in the World. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like this movie because I've seen Joachim Trier's other movie, Oslo, August 31st. Also, I'm going to be seeing Happening, which is another French movie that I'm really excited to see. I also chose to see Magnetic Beat and Playground, which is a very short movie. I wonder if it's going to be good. I'm also going to be seeing Luzu, Cow by Andrea Arnold, which is the director of American Honey, which is the movie I love. I also am going to be seeing Lamb, which is an Icelandic movie that has some buzz around it this year. It's directed by Vladimir Johansson. I also chose Earwig, which is directed by this crazy long name. But one of my favorite programs in this Panorama is Krzysztof Kieslowski retrospective program. They're going to be screening some of his best movies, a short film about killing, which is a movie I wanted to see for a very long time. I wanted to rewatch. And also they're going to be screening a short film about love, which I'm really excited for this one. And finally, The Double Life of Veronique, which is one of my favorite movies for Kieslowski. It stars the gorgeous Irene Jacob. Great movie. Also, I'm going to be rewatching the 3 Color trilogy. I'm going to be rewatching Blue, which is my favorite, by Juliette Binoche. And I'm going to be watching White, starring Julie Delpy. And finally, I'm going to be rewatching Red, which stars, again, Irene Jacob. I'm really excited for this program. I wanted to make an entire video for Krzysztof Kieslowski, so maybe check that out when it's out. So this is, again, the index of the entire movies that are going to be screening during the entire Panorama. I hope I didn't miss out on some of the good movies, and I hope I made the right choices. I'm going to keep you updated in my YouTube shorts. During this Panorama, I'm gonna be listening to 5 new albums. I'm gonna be listening to Silk Sonic and Evening with Silk Sonic. I'm gonna be listening to Lana Del Rey's Blue Bannisters. I'm gonna be listening to Emil and the Sniffers' Comfort to Me. I'm gonna be listening to the remixes album Dawn of Chromatica by Lady Gaga. And I'm gonna be listening to a bit of an older album, Stranger in the Alps by Phoebe Bridgers. This is because I have been obsessed with Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers the entire year. I thought this is a great time to get into her older album. So the first movie I watched during the Panorama was a short film about killing by Kieslowski. I really liked this movie, and it was my first time watching it. So the movie's cinematography looks very distinctive. It has a green tint throughout the entire movie, which actually made me very interested in what was this filter. So I researched after the movie and found out that the green filter used was specifically made for this movie by the cinematographer Slawomir Idziak. I'm completely butchering this name. But he ended up making around 600 filters during the entire movie to give it this distinctive look. And it clearly paid off because the cinematography in this movie was very unique and eye-catching. The movie has a sinister aura surrounding it, which isn't like any of Kieslowski's other movies. Actually, on the contrary, most of his movies revolve around warm feelings such as connection and love and relatedness. But here, the overall feeling in the movie was fear and uncomfortableness. He was trying to build a sinister feeling, or the feeling that there's something sinister lurking in the first act. For example, there are scenes of a taxi driver who refuses to pick up a couple just to make things harder for them, while he aimlessly wanders around, and then later on he harasses a girl. Also, there's a very weird looking guy who keeps bothering passers-by in the streets, and then he asks a lady to enlarge a photo that he keeps in his wallet. All these scenes are confusing, but they are trying to build an atmosphere. Simultaneously, we have a guy who is an upcoming lawyer and get to follow him around. At the beginning, I thought these stories will not intersect and they're gonna be like vignettes, but actually they beautifully do by the end. Then we get to the second part, and the second half of this movie tells a completely different story, and there's kind of a time skip between the two acts of the movie. The second part is more of a trial. This part was more theatrical, and it was mainly like two people talking, while you as a viewer slowly understand their characteristics, their motives, their psyche, and their human condition. And it just felt like watching a very good theatrical piece. Of course, the main theme of this movie is the capital punishment. There are a lot of movies that I saw that did tackle this very same issue, such as Dancer in the Dark or last year's movie, the Iranian movie There Is No Evil. But I feel like this movie was so much more theatrical and so much more human. The last two movies were kind of the characters were forced to be in this situation, but here in this movie they actually show the act of killing in the first act of the movie, while in the second act of the movie it's kind of an exploration of why did it happen and what is in the psyche of the killer. By the end, you could feel a relation between killing someone and the act of capital punishment, and actually Kieslowski's depiction of this gruesome act was strong enough that the Polish authorities stopped the capital punishment for 5 years as to pay respect to this movie. It's a very, very unique movie, and it's very short. Actually, there are two cuts of this movie. I have seen the theatrical cut, which is an hour and a half long feature movie. And one of them is an episode of Decalogue, which is a series about the 10 Commandments. And this is the episode titled You Shall Not Kill. But this is not the one I talked about, and this one is barely an hour long. Overall, I'm so excited for the rest of Kieslowski's movies, and I give this movie a 9 out of 10. Totally recommended. Another very cool thing that happened on the first day of the Panorama, which is going to Arcan Art Week. It's an exhibition that takes place in Cairo that shows all sorts of arts, from digital art to paintings to portraits to all sorts of craft items. It's a very, very unique experience because you got to see all sorts of artists expressing themselves in different ways. I took this very cute and long montage of all the artworks that was there. I tried to show most of the artists' names. If you like any of them, you can check them out. I am really astounded with how much talent I saw on that day.